LUAN Emotional Podcast, conversations for inspiration on the go. We offer on-the-go inspiration because our whole heart is set on beauty and our best bets are set on art.
Hi everyone, welcome to LUAN Emotional Podcast. So on the last episode, we talked about adult children of emotionally immature parents. And at the end, we closed with valuable information on if you had emotionally immature parents, what could you do about it? And it was a lot about, you being there for yourself and your emotions. No? What is it that you wanted your parents to do? Then you have the ability to actually do it for yourself, kind of like your own mother and your own father. And talking about this topic, it comes this amazing book that I loved. I read it, I think maybe 15 years ago, and it's called The Presence Process by Michael Brown. So The Presence Process is an actionable 10-week program teaching how to become more present and to respond to situations more consciously. It's all about integrating emotions. So it's about, instead of being reactive to emotions, responding to emotions. And this is something valuable. I don't know, for example, have you had, these triggers with specific people around in your life that maybe, I don't know, someone calls you on the phone and you're about to, or you're sitting down talking with someone that constantly pushes your buttons, and eventually you explode. These triggers are by reactive behavior. So the idea is to integrate the emotions so we can become responsive instead of reacting, okay? So Michael Brown shares breathing practices. And I love this quote from the Presence Process that talks about the Presence Process awakens within us the awareness that it's in how we react to what's happening in this moment that sows seed for what's to come, beyond the borders of our present existence. I'm going to read that again. The Presence Process awakens within us the awareness that it's in how we react to what's happening in this moment that sows seeds for what's to come beyond the borders of our present existence. Okay. So it all started in 1989 when Michael Brown was diagnosed with an acute health condition. It's called Horton syndrome. As a result, he experienced unbearable headaches multiple times per day. The doctors told him there was no known cure for this illness. And honestly, he narrates in the book that many doctors told him that, he was a candidate for suicide. Kind of like, how can we help you commit suicide? Because there's nothing we can do for you, So Brown embarked on a personal journey looking for ways to heal himself. After a 9-year odyssey of experimenting with various healing and spiritual techniques, he found a solution. He discovered that his pain and suffering subsided every time he entered a state of what he now calls present moment awareness. And this book, The Presence Process, walks us through a 10-week procedure Brown uses to reconnect with his present moment awareness, okay? So regardless of your current health and life circumstances, his core idea is that as long as you are truly engaged in what is happening in the present moment, you are by default living a life of purpose, meaning, and connection. So everything is about, what he states in his book is that when we are born until we're 7 years old, that's where we have the emotional imprints, okay? From 7 years old to 14 years old, that's when we have the mental kind of imprint, when we start asking questions on why this and why that, and we use kind of our rational part, no? And also, from where we're 14 to where we're 21, that's kind of like our physical aspect, right? We go through puberty, or, from being, more kids, we turn into adulthood, no? So what he focuses on is for us to dig deep in everything that happened in those first 7 years emotionally, that we might not have the words, the rational part, the storytelling, but we can have sensations and we can have feelings. And I know that it sounds quite abstract, but it's part of how we experience the world when we were at that age, okay? And all our emotional, mental, and physical discomforts arising in this life experience are the effects of unresolved experiences that occurred in time. As we intentionally move our attention into the present moment, these unresolved experiences surface, unravel, and come to resolution. So, it narrates a lot about the only way out is through. And the only way out of this emotional reactive behavior is to go through our emotions. So in this 10-week process, well, the book is divided in 2 sections. The first section is all the theory about how does it work, how does emotion work, what are we doing, and it talks about, emotion being energy in motion. And the second part of the book is all about experiencing the first part of the book. So it's a 10-week process where we start by with this breathing technique that he guides you through it, 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night for 10 weeks. And he suggests we read 1 chapter having a conscious response each week. So for example, the first conscious response is I am here in this now, for example. And you're constantly breathing, having that conscious response. And for example, another one is this moment matters. Okay, so it just these 3 words, the phrase then becomes a conscious response to everyday events, as often as possible during the first week. So as each week progresses, there are deeper insights and tools to empower the reader to respond consciously to life. Okay, so what does it mean when we are invited to respond rather than react to life? So when faced with an upset or challenge in our lives, we often avoid the true feelings that arise. So Brown says, we do this in one of several ways. We sedate, we control, or we run away. Invariably, the upset or challenge is an echo from the past, from our childhood, even from a time before we had words. So rather than talk our way out of the discomfort, we are invited to feel and to breathe and to stay in present moment awareness. Not only that, but we are encouraged to see that every upset is actually a setup, an opportunity to seize the moment, to recognize that what's happening is an echo from the past. It is an effect, but it is not the cause. So rather than sedate, control, or run away, we ask to stay compassionately present with what is happening by strengthening our ability to remain present in these uncomfortable moments, feeling everything unconditionally and breathing for 15 minutes twice daily. We create change at the causal level of our being. So you might be asking okay, everything that we don't want to feel, This is giving yourself the space every morning and every night for 15 minutes to feel that and to go through it. So then you would ask me why would someone do the presence process, right? Well, Brown acknowledges that there could be many reasons for embarking an intensive 70-day process and not throwing in the towel, such as we're curious, for example, curiosity could be one of them. We're choosing to grow up emotionally is another one. We are aware of going around in circles and getting nowhere. Emotional, mental, or physical symptoms are unbalancing the quality of our life experience. And our life experience is uncomfortable and nobody can relieve us of this discomfort. And we suspect nobody but us can, okay? So the prospect of present moment awareness, that means living in the now, fascinates us. We are exploring the potentials of our humanity, okay? So Brown, as a facilitator and trainer of transformational breath, this is the inclusion of 15-minute breathing practice twice daily in the presence process that makes so much sense. It is through the breath that we access the long-held and unresolved mental and emotional issues that are holding us back in life. Here in LUAN podcast, we've spoken in other episodes. We spoke one about Why We're Breathing Wrong by James Lester. And we focus a lot on the breath because I love this tool. It's something that every human being that is alive right now on earth has access to, instant access. In any place that you're in, you could be commuting to work, you could be working, you could be washing the dishes, you could be working out, whatever it is that you're doing, it's something that you can implement right now. It's not something that costs you. It's not something that you need to move from one place to another. It's something 100% accessible to every human being. Instead, if you have some breathing issues, right? But it's something that we can activate quite fast, okay? So it is through the breath that we integrate these issues at the causal level and therefore liberate ourselves to live authentically in the present, in the here and now. My journey with the presence process continues to be of stepping up and taking full responsibility for the quality of my personal experience in this life. I've done it twice in my life, and I've had profound effects. It requires a lot of discipline. Honestly, I must be honest for that. And but it's totally worth it. So my inner child, that part of me that didn't know how to be fully present in all those challenging childhood events, and instead chose to bury those moments and feelings in the depths of my unconscious. So we can say thank you. Our adult self still tending to act under the influence of unintegrated past events and yearning to be free, yearning for that freedom appreciates the decision to say yes to this ongoing journey. So I know it seems like a paradox to attempt to put into words what is essentially a direct felt experience when reading and working with this book. However, the presence process is a rare gem, offering a way of being connected to present moment awareness and living life in the now. It presents a clear pathway for accessing it seems a paradox to attempt to put into words what is essentially a direct felt experience when reading and working with this book. However, the presence process is a rare gem, offering a way of being connected to present moment awareness and living life in the now. It presents a clear pathway for accessing and fully resolving deeply suppressed past emotional and mental trauma. It may not always be an easy journey. Remember, the intention is not to cling to the need, but it's to feel better, but to step into the life and get better at feeling. I love this concept, but we're constantly trying to feel better, and I love that. But the idea is to get better at feeling, have more essence of all the feelings that we have inside. But in spite of the frequent challenges, it is almost certainly a very worthwhile one. So if you find yourself, and if you feel ready, I highly recommend that you read it. In my experience, I've gone through all kind of emotions. In my personal experience, week 8 and 9 are the most profound experiences where I'm digging quite deep. And I love these moments because when I'm doing it, I'm quite punctual with time. I start sleeping amazingly well. It kind of like my skin clears out. My hunger decreases. I'm 100% conscious, and it just kind of like being in touch with the fabric of life. So it's something fascinating that I find. It's something quite fascinating that I find, and that I think that's completely worthy. So it's kind of like this invitation to integrate our unresolved emotions that we might have, dig down deep in our emotions, in our core bodies. The idea is to feel them, to recognize them. And the effect of that is for us to integrate those emotions so we can become responsive instead of reactive. Okay? And so if I would have to take 3 takeaways from the presence process, the number one that I would take is that Learning how to better handle negative or uncomfortable emotions isn't about hiding from them or making yourself feel better, taking yourself from sad to happy, but about getting better at feeling, understanding better our emotions. How we feel about our present experience is a result of past conditioning. Therefore, any discomfort we feel now is a memory of something painful that happened to us in the past. So many of our emotions get stuck in us from childhood experiences, which go into distort our views as adults. And we could be living that reality just from unresolved trauma that we could have, okay? So knowing that our uncomfortable emotions are a reflection from the past allows us to stop identifying with them, treat the feelings as messages from the past. And as that famous quote says, don't kill the messenger, right? Temporary experiences that you usually don't allow yourself to look into, but that keep recurring until you acknowledge the event that caused them. Your pain and suffering will lessen every time you bring awareness to your present situation. So experience the emotions simply by paying attention to them, but without judgment or resistance. The number 2 takeaway that I would take is that you are responsible for your life experience. Whatever has happened to you, to me, is not our fault, but it is up to us to choose how we deal with the cards that life has played on us. Responding rather than reacting is a principal lesson to grasp in the presence process and will help you to stop blaming yourself and others. Reacting means you unconsciously act out based on past patterns. We react in moments of emotional discomfort, usually to defend ourselves or to attack another. So responding means you're consciously aware you're responsible for your emotional state and choose to behave based on what's happening in the present moment instead of projecting your emotions on something or someone else. That could be a disease. That could be, something that hurts in your body. That could be another person. So the presence process helps you understand that each and every person or situation that causes you to react is an opportunity to understand, heal, and integrate. And the people who cause us to react defensively or attack are actually showing us our hidden pain, giving us the opportunity to realize it, to feel it, and to ultimately heal from it. So whenever someone kind of hurts you, I feel that it's a great opportunity because it's pointing something quite important to you. Every time that we feel uncomfortable emotions, it's kind of like having this compass telling us where we have hidden emotions. And takeaway number 3 is being present. So the moment of being present is the greatest service we can do for ourselves and humanity. We have so many self-improvement products on the market, and it can be hard to know where to start on the road to becoming the best version of ourselves. But if you start by being present, meaning mindful, having an awareness of what's going on in the here and now, then positive change will follow in all aspects of your life, as well as in the lives of those around you. And to close this episode, I would like to close with this quote that I love from Michael Brown, quoting, "We mistakenly spend our experience trying to get something instead of simply receiving that which is already and eternally given." I'm going to read that again. Quoting, "We mistakenly spend our experience trying to get something instead of simply receiving that which is already and eternally giving." End quote. So leave you with this amazing process. And it's a fantastic journey that you could undertake. It requires discipline, but it's totally worth it.
Want to keep the conversation going? LUAN, the world's first emotional museum, designed a global online experience to inspire and explore. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Telegram, and visit our site at luanmuseum.com to engage creatively.